The Lord shall guard you from all evil. He guards your being. The Lord shall guard your going out and your coming in, now and forever. Well, here we are, Friday at last. For some folks, the work week's winding down. Maybe you're counting the hours until quitting time. Maybe you've got a long list of chores waiting for you this weekend. Or maybe, if we're being honest, you're just trying to make it to the finish line with enough energy left to enjoy a quiet evening on Shabbat. I was thinking about these verses the other day while I was out riding around. You know, whenever you head out on a bicycle ride, especially if you're planning to be gone for a while, there are a few things you do almost without thinking. You make sure the tires have enough air in them. You check the brakes. Maybe you throw a bottle of water in the cage or make sure you've got your phone in your pocket. And then, at some point, you push off and start pedaling. What's funny is that once the ride begins, there are 1,000 things outside your control. You don't know if you're going to hit a patch of gravel around the next corner. You don't know if the weather's going to change. You don't know if you'll run into a headwind that seems to come out of nowhere. Most rides are pretty uneventful, but the truth is, once you leave the driveway, there's a lot you simply have to trust to God. Listen to those words again. The Lord shall guard you from all evil. He guards your being. The Lord shall guard your going out and your coming in, now and forever. That's a comforting promise, especially at the end of a long week. Notice that the psalmist doesn't say that believers will never face hardship. He doesn't say we'll never get sick, never lose a job, never experience disappointment, or never walk through sorrow. Anyone who's lived long enough knows that's simply not true. The scriptures are filled with faithful men and women who endured all sorts of trials. But what the psalm does say is that the Lord guards His people. He watches over our going out and our coming in. In other words, He isn't only with us in the big, dramatic moments in life. He's with us in the ordinary moments too. He's with us when we leave for work on Monday morning. He's with us when we're sitting in traffic. He's with us when we're folding laundry, paying bills, mowing the grass, or taking an evening walk. And He's with us when life takes a turn that we never saw coming. I think sometimes we imagine that God only pays attention to the major events of our lives, the weddings, the funerals, the milestones, the crises. But Psalm 121 paints a different picture. It reminds us that the Creator of heaven and earth is concerned with the entire journey. You're going out, you're coming in. The beginning of the day, the end of the day. The exciting moments, the ordinary ones, the joyful seasons, and the difficult seasons too. Maybe that's something you need to remember as this week comes to an end. Maybe you've spent the last few days worrying about the future. Lord knows I have. Maybe you've been carrying burdens that nobody else knows about. Maybe you've been wondering whether God sees the struggles that you've been facing. Psalm 121 gives us an answer. He sees, He knows, and He has not abandoned His people. That doesn't mean that every road will be smooth. Anybody who's spent enough time on a bicycle knows there are hills, potholes, and unexpected detours. But the promise isn't that the road will always be easy. The promise is that we don't travel it alone. So as you head into the weekend and into Shabbat, take a moment to thank the Lord, God Most High, Yahweh, for His faithfulness. Thank Him for carrying you through another week. Thank Him for being present in both the ordinary and extraordinary things in life. And wherever you find yourself in the days ahead, remember these words. The Lord shall guard your going out and your coming in, now and forever. That's true on the mountaintops. It's true in the valleys. It's true on the easy stretches of road and on the steep climbs. And it's true today. Thank you for joining me here today, my friends and family, and anyone else who might be riding along and listening on this here Friday morning. I hope your week was a prosperous and productive one, and I'm looking forward to that Shabbat. So until next time, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.